Hey, isn't it your birthday next week? Yeah, it is. Happy birthday! No, it's not today, it's next week. Don't you know that this brings bad luck? Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I've been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016, which also means that I've spent 4 birthdays in the US by now. Actually, I just celebrated my birthday recently, and it's a very different experience than celebrating your birthday in Germany. I was actually really surprised by that when I first came here because, I knew that there were cultural differences between the two countries, but who would have thought that from the cake to the party, Americans even handle birthdays differently than Germans. Before I get into that though, I want to say thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes where you can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. They offer video classes on a wide variety of topics, including things like marketing or web development, or also like creative topics like photography and graphic design. And they also have language classes, including German, because I know a lot of you guys are currently either learning a language or want to learn one. The cool thing about Skillshare is also that it's curated specifically for learning, which means that there are no ads, they're always launching new premium classes, and you can even try one of their new live classes, which means that you can work along and connect with the teacher all in real time. For all of you who are interested in this, making videos and starting your own YouTube channel, I just came across this really cool class called YouTube Success, Script, Shoot, and Edit with MKBHD, who is a successful YouTuber with over 13 million subscribers.
I've made 1,300 plus videos at this point.
And he shares his whole process in the class of how he makes a video, from scripting to filming to editing and posting it, so you can get some amazing insider tips. You can follow my lead and join Skillshare today, and the best thing is that the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. The first thing that's different about celebrating your birthday in Germany versus the US is the understanding of when your birthday takes place and when to say happy birthday. It kind of sounds like a redundant question at first glance. Your birthday is your birthday, right? It's one day a year. Well, not for Americans, it seems like. Many people here celebrate their birthday for a whole week, or they celebrate it early, or some even speak of their birthday month. In Germany, that's not really a thing. Your birthday is just the one day, and if anything, you can celebrate your birthday later, like the following weekend or later than that, but never ever do we celebrate it the weekend before the actual birthday, or even earlier than that. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say never ever, because I'm sure some Germans do this under certain circumstances, but I think it would be more in a situation where 2 people are celebrating a milestone birthday the same year, like a 50th birthday or something like that, and they have a huge celebration together, but the one person's birthday is in May and the other one's is in July or something. I think in that case, even in Germany, it would be acceptable to celebrate, let's say in June, so before the second person's birthday, and it wouldn't be super weird. But usually that's not something we do in Germany, because your birthday isn't until it's 12 a.m. on that day. And similarly to what I explained about German New Year's Eve in one of my previous videos, you do not wish someone a happy birthday before it's midnight. That's a big no-go, and there's even a superstition that says that it brings bad luck to the birthday person if people wish them happy birthday early. Many Germans also celebrate on the day going into their birthdays. We call it reinfeiern, so celebrating in. So they'll have a party or a get-together with friends the night before their birthday, and it's pretty much implied that people stick around at least until midnight, and then right at 12 a.m. is when they say happy birthday or sing. So remember, don't ever say happy birthday to a German before their actual birthday. You can say it afterwards though, you'll just wish them a belated happy birthday in that case. In German you'll say Alles Gute zum Geburtstag, or the short version of that, Alles Gute, or you can say Herzlichen Glückwunsch, or even just the English happy birthday. That's used a lot in Germany too. And when we're saying it late, we'll say something something like Alles Gute nachträglich. Americans, on the other hand, sometimes say happy birthday days before, or sometimes even 1 or 2 weeks before the actual birthday. And as I've already implied, many people also celebrate early, like the weekend before their birthday, or even earlier than that. I know many people who do that here, and that's really weird to a German because people sometimes celebrate, let's say, their 21st birthday before they actually turn 21. So the German in me is wondering, what's the point? Now, the next thing is something where the German way seems to be the weird one, because in Germany, it's common that when it's someone's birthday, they're the one who bring a cake or some other treat to the office or, wherever they go. Not everyone does this, but it's definitely something that happens quite a lot. Also, when you go out for dinner for your birthday with your family or friends, it often happens that the person whose birthday it is will pay for everyone. Now, again, not everyone does this, but I'd say that it's either that everyone pays for themselves or the person who invited everyone pays, which in this case would be the birthday person because they were like, hey, it's my birthday, let's go out for dinner. In the US, however, it's common that everyone else pays for the birthday person. Whether it's dinner or just a few drinks, I've had my friends pretty much fight over who can pay my next drink on my birthday because they don't want you to pay for yourself. Which makes a lot more sense than the way we do it in Germany when you think about it, at least in my opinion. But I mean, it seems normal to us in Germany, and I had never even thought about this or doubted it before I came to the US and experienced how people do it here. But I think the idea behind the German way is that you want other people to take part in your birthday as well. So by bringing a cake or something, you're sharing your special day with them, and you don't want people having to pay when you're the one inviting them to go out to dinner. However, while the guests often don't have to pay, they almost always bring a birthday gift in Germany, so in the end, it kind of evens out. Does this mean Americans don't give each other birthday presents? No, that's not what I'm trying to say, but in my personal experience, in my age range, so when you're like in your 20s and in my personal bubble, only close friends do that here in the US. So if I invite my friends out to go to dinner with me or go to a bar for my birthday, maybe 1 or 2 will bring a present, but most of them won't, and that's okay. In Germany though, I feel like it's more of an unwritten rule that when you're invited to a birthday gathering, you bring something. Even if you don't know the person very well, and even if it's just a gift card or something like that. Another cool thing is that a lot of restaurants and bars in the US will give you something for free on your birthday or the week of your birthday. Some restaurants do that too in Germany, but I feel like it's a lot more common in the US. It might be a free drink, a free meal, or at least a discount. And a lot of restaurants do this whole thing that you see in American movies a lot, where the waiters will come out with a dessert with sparklers in it and sing happy birthday to you, which I know some people find very embarrassing. Now let's get to one of the most essential parts of a birthday, the cake. Both in Germany and the US, it's common to have a birthday cake, but the term birthday cake is not necessarily the same thing as the German Geburtstagskuchen. Because in Germany, any kind of cake or tart can be a birthday cake if it's made for your birthday. Moms will usually make their kids' favorite cake for their birthday, or they'll ask them what kind they want. In the US, however, birthday cake seems to be its own kind of cake. Birthday cake is even a flavor that you can find for ice cream, cupcakes, candy, milkshakes, and other things. Like you'll have the option between flavors like chocolate, strawberry, and birthday cake. I think I've even seen birthday cake flavored Oreos before. So what is American birthday cake? I mean, I'm not the expert, but it's usually a white or yellow cake, sometimes chocolate too, I think, with frosting that's often colored with food dye, and there's also usually lots and lots of sprinkles on top. To all the Germans among you, yep, it's pretty simple, maybe kind of boring, and usually extremely sweet. I would definitely prefer the strawberry cake that my mom used to make for my birthday. What's also interesting is that while it's common for people to make a birthday cake, I feel like it's even more common to buy them at the store. I don't know if that's just my personal bubble here, but when it's someone's birthday, the family or friends often just get one of these pre-made cakes from the bakery section at the grocery store and then sometimes have them put an individual text on it. In Germany, it's definitely more common to make a cake yourself for your loved ones, and German cakes in general are pretty different to American cakes. We just have such a big variety of different fruit cakes, Obstkuchen, pound cakes, Rührkuchen, sheet cakes, Blechkuchen, and so on. They have have different kind of batters. Some will have a hard glaze. We don't usually do the soft frosting in Germany. Some just have fruit on top with jello. Some will have crumbles or powdered sugar. And some aren't actually cakes, but they're tarts with several layers. But all of these can be a birthday cake. And I'm not trying to say that you can't buy cakes in Germany. You'll usually find a pretty big selection of freshly made cakes and cake slices at the counters of bakeries and confectionaries. And you can also get frozen cakes that you'll just have to defrost, but it's not very typical to do that for someone's birthday. In both countries though, it's common to put candles on the cake, usually the number of years that the person is turning, and they get to blow out the candles and make a wish. One question that I get asked a lot is what birthday song we sing in Germany, and people are often disappointed when I respond that we usually just sing happy birthday. Yes, the regular English happy birthday. Well, many Germans actually sing happy birthday rather than birthday, but still. Now, we do have German birthday songs too, of course, but happy birthday really is the most common one, I'd say. There is a German version of the song with the text being Zum Geburtstag viel Glück, to your birthday much luck, literally translated, but you don't hear that a lot anymore. Then there's a song called Hoch soll sie leben, which literally translates to let her/him live high, and the phrase to let someone live high just means to celebrate someone. When I was in kindergarten, we always did this thing where the birthday child would sit on a chair in the middle while we would sing the song, and we would lift the chair with the kid up into the air to literally let them live high. And then a lot of people also sing this song by the German kids song composer Rolf Zuckowski called Wie schön, dass du geboren bist. How nice that you were born. That one has become kind of a classic too. But yeah, most of the time you'll hear Germans sing happy birthday. Birthday parties as a kid are something that you'll remember for a lifetime usually, both in Germany and the US. In both countries, it's common to either host a kid's birthday party at home or go somewhere to celebrate. Fast food places like McDonald's are popular for that in both countries, I think. I don't know how many people still do this nowadays, but I do remember that a few kids in my kindergarten celebrated their birthdays there. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's cheap for the parents, the kids love the food, and they have a playground there usually, so the kids are busy. Another popular place for kids' birthday parties in the US is this restaurant chain called Chuck E. Cheese. We don't have that in Germany, but it's a mix of restaurant and entertainment pretty much. So they have food there, but they also have arcade games and little rides. So it's the perfect location. In Germany, we sometimes have these indoor playgrounds that are kind of similar to that. I loved those growing up. They'd often have really cool rides, slides, games, trampolines, and huge ball pits and those kinds of things. And those were definitely a destination for birthday parties too. Besides that, when I was growing up, it was also a thing for kids to go to the movie theater for a birthday, go bowling or Kegen, the German version of bowling, mini golfing in the summer, and I even went swimming on one of my birthdays in an indoor wave pool. That was really cool. When a birthday party took place at home though, there's a long list of games that we would usually play, and I don't know if any of these are common in the US too. I don't think they are, but please let me know in the comments below. So some of the classics in Germany definitely include Topfschlagen, hit the pot in English, where one kid, it's usually the birthday child, gets blindfolded and gets a spoon or a cooking spoon, and their task is to find the pot that is placed somewhere in the room. So they crawl around while hitting the floor with the spoon, and the other kids get to scream warm, hot, or cold to indicate whether they're getting closer to the pot or not. And once they've hit the pot with the spoon, the game is over. There's also Eierlaufen, egg and spoon race, where there is an obstacle course, and usually there are 2 teams, and every participant needs to walk through the course while balancing an egg on their spoon, and if it falls down, they have to start over. Now, we usually played this with either boiled eggs, especially when the party was inside and not in the backyard, or with a bouncy ball instead of an egg. We also loved having sack races, which I think are a thing in the US. And then there's really weird games in Germany, like Schokoladenessen, which apparently is just called the chocolate game in English, where the goal is to eat a bar of chocolate that's wrapped up in several layers of paper, and you have to eat it with fork and knife while wearing a beanie, gloves, and a scarf. There's also Mehlschneiden, flour cutting, but apparently it's just called the flour game in English. This one basically ends in one of the kids digging their face in a pile of flour on a plate in order to to eat the candy that was placed on top of the pile. One thing I know that people do here in the US that we don't really do in Germany are piñatas, which are originally from Mexico. For this game, you hang up a paper figure that's filled with candy, and then the kids take turns and try to beat this paper figure with a stick or a baseball bat or something similar to that while blindfolded. A piñata often has the shape of a horse, but I think it can really have all kinds of shapes, and then every kid usually gets a few tries to hit the piñata until the next kid gets to try, and the goal, of course, is to break it and get all the candy to fall out. Another typical American party game is Pin the Tail on the Donkey, where you'll have a picture of a donkey that's missing the tail put up on a wall, and then you'll also have a paper tail with a push pin. The kids are blindfolded, get spun around, and then they try to pin the tail as closely to the correct spot as possible. Another game that comes to mind is Reise nach Jerusalem, which in English is simply called musical chairs, and that one's definitely played in both countries. But I know there are many more games, so please let me know in the comments below which of these games sounded familiar to you and what games you used to play at a kid's birthday party growing up. The last point I want to cover when it comes to birthdays in the two countries is what birthdays seem to play a significant role. In Germany, I would say that it's mostly the 16th and the 18th birthday that are really important, and in general, everything that we call round birthdays, so milestone birthdays like when you turn 10 or 20. But at 16, you're legally allowed to drink and buy beer and wine in Germany, and there are also clubs that will allow you in until midnight, so this is when Germans are legally allowed to go out and party. And the age of 18 is when you're officially an adult in Germany, so that means that you're volljährig, so of legal age, and this is also when you're finally allowed to drive. You can get your driver's license at the age of 17 in Germany, but you'll only be allowed to drive with a parent or a legal guardian until you're 18. Another age that gets mentioned as an important one sometimes is 14, because this is the age of criminal responsibility in Germany. In the US, I think the two most important birthdays are the 16th birthday and the 21st. 16 is the age when people get their driver's license in most states in the US, which is pretty cool from a German perspective, and a 16th birthday is often referred to as Sweet 16, and especially girls might have a Sweet 16 party, which is usually very different than a 16th birthday party in Germany, because with 16 being the legal drinking age in Germany, a 16th birthday party there is more similar to a 21st birthday party in the US. Meaning it can get wild. In the US, a Sweet 16 party can be very formal and is usually nothing like the parties in Germany. And then the 21st birthday, of course, is when you're finally allowed to drink in the US, so that's usually one of the most important birthdays for Americans. 21 is also when people are of legal age in Mississippi and Puerto Rico, but in the rest of the US, it's 18, just like in Germany. Except for the drinking, for that you'll have to wait another 3 years in the US. Most of you guys probably already know this, but it's definitely kind of weird from an outside perspective that you're considered a full adult at the age of 18 in the US, and you can vote, buy a house, get married, join the military to fight and die for your country, but you're not allowed to buy a beer. But anyway, that's why the 21st birthday is so significant here, because that's when people are finally able to do that too. If I could put together the ideal birthday situation, I would probably pick the German cake paired with other people paying for me, and I'd probably want to have an American Sweet 16 party the one day and then have a German 16th birthday party the next day. If I were still 16, which I'm not, but if I could pick. So now, of course, I want to know how you guys celebrate your birthday in your country. Let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you liked the video, you can show me that by hitting the thumbs up button. And if you enjoy what I do on my channel, be sure to subscribe. If you want to see more content from me, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And if you want to support my channel beyond that, you can do so on Patreon or buy me a coffee. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Tschüss!